going, y'all? Welcome to the Convo Lounge with your hosts, Amir Anthony, Char Rochelle, and Antonio Crow. And what are we talking about today, y'all?
Music make you lose control. If I could pop lock, I would. How am I doing? No? Okay, never mind. It's not my gift.
Right.
Music makes you lose control. Yeah, music has impacted my life and impacts everyone's life, seems like it.
Mm-hmm. Music is energy. Music is definitely energy.
Yeah, that's true.
Music is a story.
Yeah, you know, people put their lives into music. Like Amir said, they put stories like Slick Rick, amazing storyteller.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? Snoop Dogg, amazing storyteller. R. Kelly, amazing storyteller. But you know, for the sake
he
of,
really is, regardless of the sin, like the Black church likes to say, right. Love the person, hate the sin. The man is talented. Like musically, he's a beast.
Right.
He just got some demons that we're praying for him about right now.
Yes. You said it so eloquently.
Right. So let's go ahead and hop into it. The state of hip hop. I think the number one thing that's trending right now in the state of hip hop is our brother Nick Cannon and currently what's going on with him due to some of the things that were mentioned on his podcast. And he had Professor Griff, ex-member of Public Enemy. There was conversation about Minister Louis Farrakhan and Nation of Islam and some of the rhetoric that was deemed anti-Semitic and not. And we touched on in our last episode. We discussed, how a lot of athletes were using some of the rhetoric. So what's you guys' take on what's going on with Brother Nick Cannon?
Well, Nick and his show has done wonders. He's impacted the young society with Wild 'N Out. He's given internet sensations an opportunity to showcase their talent, and at the same time, Nick is Mr. Entertainment. But then he has a social responsibility that he accepted, which is pretty profound since, the issues that we're dealing with in our society every day. And police brutality is at the forefront of United States culture. So Nick has been empowered. He just graduated from college not too long ago. In addition to his entertainment, he had an additional podcast. And when he assumed that responsibility, he put in jeopardy some things. And basically, it's not so much jeopardy, it's just a bunch of bruised feelings, I feel. And I think it's unfortunate that bruised feelings can basically cause people to react and make decisions on people's lives. I think that's unfortunate. So Nick kind of got involved, like, I don't want to say too involved, because we should be able to speak for our people, right? We should be. I don't see anything wrong with him stepping up, but at this point in his life, him bringing Professor Griff has a history. I don't know, and that history may not set well with a lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of people in entertainment, and as a result, I think that show specifically backfired on him.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that freedom of speech applies to everybody except for African Americans. I think it's unfortunate that we live in a society where, like, America is supposed to be the land of second chances, but when it comes to offending certain groups, there aren't any second chances. And the same grace that's given to these other groups aren't given to African Americans. And I think that we have to get to a place, not only as Black society, but like as a culture in general, where we stop canceling people and we start counseling them, when we start educating them, when we start really standing to what we say we stand for as a country. And if we're going to give folks second chances or third chances or whatnot, let it be for everybody. Let there be equity.
I agree, Shar. And I feel like there needs to be a conversation. You know, people run from Farrakhan, but where is the community that is willing, without saying names, of course, because without saying names, where is the community that's willing to actually have a conversation, a table conversation? That's what I want to see. And not only that, because it's so historic, I think the youth deserve an opportunity to see leadership speak to the concerns.
Right. And I think it's unfortunate that the internet is giving Nick Cannon a hard time for apologizing. Like, that's what people with integrity do. They apologize when they offend people. Like, you can't just stand straight in your wrongness. There has to be some kind of conviction to your life. People.
Yeah. No, I mean, no. That's definitely true. I think Nick Cannon realized that, my thing is, when you're going to speak out and use your freedom of speech to a particular group, you just got to be mindful and do your homework before you start speaking out on certain things or paraphrasing what another individual may have said. And Minister Farrakhan has the platform to do so. He is a leader of a religious organization, and I'm not sure what Nick Cannon's affiliation is with him. But if he is a follower or if he does believe in some of that, that's his business. But you just have to be mindful of the platform that you have and where you stand and how you begin your career. He's been in the game for over 25 years. He started off as a comedian. He's done wonderful things within the hip hop culture with his show Wild and Out. And hopefully, and we're going to talk about it shortly, Diddy has now stepped up and with his platform on Revolt TV to reach out to the brothers. So I appreciate there's a solidarity between two men of color to come together and say, hey, I got your back, let's rally. We all make mistakes, but I'm praying for his health and his mental state, because we're beating him up in our community on top of other people outside of our community beating him up. And he'll be okay. He'll be fine. But we have to be mindful that we all make mistakes. And what he did, it was unfortunate to speak out and say what he said. But I'm praying for his mental state that he can bounce back and he can control the platform and the creativity with his show. Because his show is like the longest running sketch comedy show of that type. There's been carbon copy of shows that are doing like karaoke or what's the one where they do like the singing?
Mass Singer.
So that's the Mass Singer. But there's another one where they do like a hip hop, like a karaoke, and it's hosted by Method Man, and I forgot the show. But anyway, it's kind of like one of those type of shows. But the thing is that Nick Cannon's been doing that Wild and Out. I just hope the brother can have the opportunity to take that and go to another network like a Revolt TV, because Viacom is a huge conglomerate in the space, only BET, VH1, and MTV. So he'll be fine. It's unfortunate that what he said was outside of his main platform, and he just went a little left with what he may have said. But my thing is, if you have the platform and that is what you believe in, then we expect that from you. But I think we didn't expect that to come from Nick Cannon. So, and I'm just praying for his mental state.
For sure. And shout out to him for being one who has been the source of employment and like giving other young Black artists the opportunity to showcase their talent. So like shout out to him for building that platform as well, which is, in my personal opinion, another reason why I feel like certain groups want to bring folks down once they see we're getting to a certain level and we have a certain reach and we're able to provide certain privileges and luxuries for our own community. They don't like it. They don't like it.
Right.
That's my own conspiracy theory. We can end it on that.
So we got Diddy, what Diddy is doing right now. And we already kind of tapped into it, but he's a major influence in the culture owning Revolt TV. And shout out to him for also stepping up and Farrakhan had his speech on the 4th of July, he was one of the few to step up. And also shout out to Ice Cube. Shout out to Ice Cube. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but the brother took on a lot of regional sports networks to have his own basketball league that it actually has thrived over the last couple of years. And unfortunately, due to COVID, he was unable to have his Big Three league take part, but he's been a major player right now for the community, making sure that his voice is heard. So I just wanted to shout out. I know Antonio's been to a couple of the Big Three games too.
Yeah, that function of sports is amazing because you get to see so many players that you haven't seen in a while, and they still have game, they still balling. And for him to have this idea, it was Cube and LL and who else?
I forgot who it was. Another big name player in the business sense. It was like a joint venture with all of them.
Right. So that was a great idea. And plus, they tour and they get to go to different states, and it brings out celebrities. It brings out the fun of basketball. So that's a win. I really enjoyed myself when I went to that 303.
No doubt.
Shout out to Juwan. Shout out to Juwan for the tickets.
No doubt. Shout out to Juan because, but Diddy, once again stepping up for Nick Cannon, I think is a major thing, and hopefully, Revolt TV can back and help, Nick.
Which it seemed as though, when we got the news that Viacom had quote unquote released Nick Cannon, it was impressive to see Diddy stand up, to see that Diddy would make such a quick response to the actions of Viacom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because hip hop is political. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is controversial. Yeah. So this is where we were talking about Nick and hip hop and entertainment. Like, typically we didn't see Nick in hip hop, even though he has some hit records, but he didn't come up with the conscious rap. He became a conscious person as he matured as a man.
Right.
And that is very valuable. Like, I respect Nick, how he has matured as a man. And then he got caught up in politics and hip hop. And of course it covers not only politics, hip hop, but it covers culture. But we around the world love hip hop, not just Black people, not just Jewish people, not just white people, not just Latin people. We around the world love hip hop.
It's the voice of the people.
Right.
Voice of the people. And the thing is that Nick's transition into the culture has definitely been monumental, and it's been inspiring. And the thing is that I applaud him for everything that he's done. Like Shar was saying, he's put a lot of people on the map. I mean, you go back to some of the episodes, the early episodes of Wild 'N Out, and all the different comedians that would be on the show, the different artists that had the platform. It was kind of like Saturday Night Live meets hip hop meets Def Jam comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was what Russell Simmons did back in the 90s with Def Comedy Jam. You know what I'm saying? That's what Cannon was able to do. So he's like our Russell Simmons of, this era. And shout out to Russell Simmons too, by the way. But, everybody's going to be fine. This is this. But on the other end of the spectrum, 50 Cent, once again, master troller, again, he strikes. He actually did something that was kind of cold to Nick Cannon. I'm like, don't beat a brother down while he's already, don't beat somebody when they're already down already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, use your platform to uplift.
What did he do? What did he do? You guys know I'm taking a break from social media. So what happened? What did I miss?
He basically took a snapshot of his show, the poster of Wild 'N Out, and added a caption of, basically messed up. What were you thinking? The usual 50 stuff. And he took, I think it was Michael Blackson, the comedian, and basically said that he was going to be able to take the show, just clowning. And Nick,
wow.
Like, this is probably how you felt when the game took over G Unit. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But it's just like, why are we, once again, and it's like when stuff like that happens in my mind, I look at it as you being jealous of another brother's success. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all have had success in your own right in the entertainment. 50
Yeah.
had Power, probably one of the biggest hit urban shows ever. And then you've been able to use your platform outside of music with Vitamin Water. You know what I'm saying? All the success that you had outside of your music career, and you're now taking it on the big stage, on TV, acting, movies. And Nick has done the same thing. He may have done it in a way where it's not as outright, you know, not as much misogynistic and a lot of the other things that 50 may portray, but Nick is more of a cleaner image. But once again, like, don't do that, man. Like, you got to be better than that. I just feel like it was out of pocket for him to be clowning like that.
For sure. It says a lot about a person when you're able to revel in somebody's defeat. It
Right.
says more about you as a person than it does about any other situation. And I think I feel as much as I disagree with the trolling and the way that 50 Cent trolls, I really do as a person. Like, I'm concerned about his mental state and his spiritual state, because anybody who is happy and whole would never want to see anybody else defeated or down or make light or make fun of it. Like, that's a very, he's toxic.
Yeah.
He's hella toxic.
50 is rap different, you guys. You have to go back to his song "How to Rob." Yeah, you really have to. Yeah, How to Rob, an industry N-word, right? You have to understand. I mean, you don't have to, but 50 Cent is rap different, and I'm not talking like on the street sense, because we all got people in the streets. 50,
Right.
50 makes fun. He's a comedian. 50 makes fun of people, and that is how he started his music career. That's what kind of put a buzz behind him as a musician, as a rapper. He dissed everybody in the industry.
Yeah, I
And
think it's a very scary state when you build an entire career off of putting other people down. When you have to build yourself up by putting other people down, you're a person I do not ever want to affiliate with on any level. I think he's successful, but that's a scary energy that I just would choose not to be around ever.
That is one of his energies, as we know. He's got many, but he can't run from it. It's something about how he gets down mentally that he enjoys making fun of people. It's unfortunate,
but the brothers,
as a grown ass man, but that's what happens. We got a lot of little boys living in man bodies, and I think 50 is one of those people.
well, not only that,
He's probably still that 9-year-old little boy,
yeah,
dealing with all of his trauma, carrying that all throughout adulthood. This man is pushing 50, acting like a 9-year-old, acting like a third grader. It's sad.
That's just how he gets down. He's done it to people in his own group. He did it to one of his members. I don't even know if he's in G Unit anymore, but you know what I'm saying?
Young Buck.
Yeah, he was going in on. I'm like, bro, that's your, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, that's how he's built.
He's a bully. Trolling is like bullying, right?
It's cyberbullying.
Yeah.
It is cyberbullying.
What are they gonna do? Kick him off of Twitter? Kick him off of Instagram?
That's exactly how you feel. What you gonna do?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. But culture vultures. Wow, wow, wow.
Man.
The state of hip hop with culture vultures. And there's a lot of them. And you know what's crazy is that I feel like culture vultures that are just not in the hip hop industry. It's also just as a whole. You have a lot of people.
Yeah. They're heavy in fashion, heavy in entertainment, but they're definitely in the hip hop community or like in music. They are there.
Well, shout out to Dame Dash, because I feel like he coined that term, and he hit it. Yeah,
No
he
doubt
hit
about it. And as much as you want to hate him, you got to give him credit for standing up. And it's probably affected his business, you know, working with a lot of other people. But, you know, when you want to have ownership of what you want to do in the industry, and you have people turning you down, and then someone else can have that same success but not have the same platform or success that he had, and then take it to another level, it kind of speaks volume to why people that, are from the urban communities, the brown and black communities, are like, yo, wait a minute, like, who is this dude? Like, who is
Right.
this? Like,
And it's one thing to be an entrepreneur, a hustler in the entertainment industry or whatever industry you're in, and be a visionary. Some people don't like to be spoken to in a certain tone, and they get offended. And unfortunately, you know, Dame was caught in an argument, and it kind of like overflows to probably some other types of business that he does. But these culture vultures are capitalizing off urban art. They're capitalizing off anything that happens in America, urban America.
Mm-hmm.
And then when black people or anyone tries to partake, it's like it's already been done, or they criticize it, so it's harder to get in. Is a dynamic that has plagued a lot of entertainers, plagued a lot of artists. Culture vultures, they need to be recognized. They need to be admonished. That's the way I feel. Because
Who are they?
Okay, so
who are they in hip hop? Who are they in hip hop?
A culture vulture would be DJ Vlad, or what's his name?
Yeah, that's him.
He called him DJ Vlad, right?
Yeah, that's him.
So I'm not dissing him. He's a journalist, right? He's a journalist, and it's almost like he's a forensic criminal psychologist or some shit, because he'll go and do the research. Let's say you committed a crime. He'll go and do the research. He will interview you, and then he'll ask you all the questions regarding your crime. Now, people went on the show to talk about it. That's one thing. Okay, so you're on the show, so you're gonna answer it or not. But the questions that he asked, and it's based on facts, things that happen. But people love that stuff. Unfortunately, it's like the Inquirer. Vlad TV is the Inquirer for everything that you've done wrong, and if you have street credibility, which that is a thing, right? Any person in hip hop who talks about rap or guns or whatever, if you don't have any street cred, they discredit you immediately. So Vlad TV is the ultimate. Vlad TV is the ultimate culture vulture.
Would you say TMZ is almost the same?
Okay, good question. 30 Mile Zone. I think they're the Inquirer. Like they do journalism of mess. You know what I'm saying?
They've been talking a few times.
Right? But journalism, I'm not a journalist. We're on a podcast. I'm glad to be able to participate in a podcast. So I'm not professing to be a journalist. But what I see with TMZ is that they're basically giving their opinions. They take the scenarios and they assess them, and they have some legal background that they don't overstep certain boundaries, right? So that's the basis, and they cover a 30-mile zone. So that's any mess that they find, any dirt that they find, or anything that they want to celebrate, But I think it's a great idea.
So
Go ahead.
Is DJ Khaled a culture vulture?
Khaled.
Okay. So here's what I'm about to throw out here, because I found in the Urban Dictionary. Shout out to the Urban Dictionary. A culture vulture is a person or an organization making profit using unhonorable practices from a culture they do not care for. So in terms of DJ Khaled, he does care about the industry. It may be annoying.
Yeah.
When he say what he says over and over, like on a loop basis, but that's his catchphrase, and he has been able to profit off of it. But I do believe if you ran into the brother, like his sense of the culture in hip hop, like he actually has love for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think when you mention people like Vlad TV, when you mention people who are entertainers that are movie stars or whatnot, are they like? Okay, here you go. Would you consider Ellen DeGeneres a culture vulture?
I
Because
would not.
okay, let me. It's a question because on her show, she has a DJ who is a brother, and she does her intro. She's dancing and grooving, and she's playing the music. But does Ellen really have a sense of the culture? Is she really down with hip hop? What has she done given everything that's currently going on right now? Has she used her platform being outspoken for those that actually live in the hip hop community or are part of the culture? So maybe I'm not trying to offend.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. No.
that can be an example of someone that profits off of the hip hop culture because there are probably people in her audience that come from urban communities, primarily brown.
Well,
I'm just throwing it
So
out.
the Kardashians are like the poster children of culture vulturing.
Without a doubt, because yeah, I would put them around in that. I mean, from the mom all the way down to every last one of those daughters, you can put in that bracket because, and I've talked about it in our colorism episode.
Yeah.
Barbara Walters one time questioned them on a 2020 special, "What do you do?"
okay, so let me just say this. Hip hop is a thriving enigma. And you can't have a talk show and be hip, such as Ellen, without including some type of upbeat type tempo to help motivate and encourage your people in your audience. So what's the best thing to do? Let's get a DJ, right? She could have got any DJ, right? There's multiple color lines when it comes to DJ.
No,
but they do dancing, so they do some of the hip dancings. So I think that Ellen, I think it's a great show. Like we all do, we think it's a great show. I think what I'm really impressed with is her clothes. Like she came, she's a innovator. She's using her platform to bridge other platforms. I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But what I really like is that she brings out, like, she takes like these viral videos and she will bring a kid, a little black kid that did something magnificent on the internet. She will bring that kid on the show and interview that kid.
Yeah, I personally love Ellen. I think I've always been a fan of her since she had her show. I know, Amir, you weren't. It was no slight. Like I definitely don't take any slight. I think you were just using her as an example.
Right. I'm just.
No slight against Ellen. We love Ellen. Yeah. The Convo Lounge loves you, Ellen.
Right. I'm just getting my Antonio-isms out. So then you get to the Kardashians and at the end of the day, people say that, but you caught. I mean, culture vulture. I don't know. I'm just saying that they are a part of culture because of social media. This is why they are able to thrive, because there is a social media.
Well,
because before we didn't know that much of them. So
I think, so when I mentioned the definition, I think there are certain parts of that definition that they do fit the criteria to be, maybe. And if you ask certain people, they would probably say, well, I mean, they do.
Yeah, you're going to get that.
They do hang around with those twin sisters that was in Atlanta. I don't know if Malika and whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like the things that they do, whether it's appropriation or, I just feel like they know how to slide in at the right time, and they slide in and it's kind of like they're cutting in and everyone else is left behind and they can use their platform, but do they honestly have the sense of culture and history? Like, they were a little hesitant to be outspoken when all of this was going on. And
you just really rattled my brain right now, because the Kardashians, they are aligned with Ryan Seacrest, right? Yeah. Ryan Seacrest is a radio personality, and I feel like Nick Cannon is the black Ryan Seacrest. And the unfortunate part is that Nick Cannon can't be black if he want to thrive like Ryan Seacrest. And that upsets me, because Ryan Seacrest has TV shows. He's on the New Year's Eve. But you know what I'm saying? But see, this is why Nick Cannon touches me. Like the issue with Nick touches me because he's black first. Before he's anything, anytime he walk in the room, he's a black man. You know what I'm saying? And everything that affects black people affects him, and he shows it. And that's why I respect Nick. It upsets me. It upsets me that he has to be canceled because he's a black man. Period.
Yeah. That's basically what it comes down to.
And we're not
because, yeah. You know, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it, like you said, Antonio, like it's a passion point, especially with everything that's going on right now. The fact that we still haven't even arrested the police officers who killed Breonna Taylor, but we can fire Nick Cannon.
Cancel. And then to your point with Ryan Seacrest, I actually saw a poster that was like, come on, y'all. They actually took Ryan Seacrest's face and put it on the Wild 'N Out poster. Like, yeah, this is going to be. I'm like, you got to do better.
I did see that.
Like, that is a great example of, you know, what Nick Cannon has meant to the culture. Like, you can call him corny, you can call him whatever you want, but you can't say that the brother ain't put in work to be in the platform that he's in. So, you know, once again, you know, the culture vulture thing. So shifting the gears a little bit and keeping it in line in the music. Shar, I know music is always uplifting to you during quarantine. Love your music. So I'll let you take this.
But wait. Before we go there, before we go to music in quarantine, like, do you guys think that music has negatively impacted our youth? Like the music of today?
We talked about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to say that if I had a son or daughter that was the age group of kids making music today, and they aspired to be an artist, I would encourage them to speak their truth. Okay? Because we're talking about an age group right here that has basically witnessed YouTube sensations. They witnessed the shock value of YouTube. And that is what thrives YouTube. Shock value, firearms on YouTube, talking about violence. So our music today, trap music, basically is a subculture within hip hop, if you will. Mm-hmm. Real music, trap music, it does not uplift people. Mm-hmm. It is about hustling, making money, and wearing fashion and driving designer, and that is not appropriate for some people in life. You know, everyone is not concerned about fashion or foreign cars or women with big booties. Like, everybody don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Some people need a wholesome aspect. So when you have a 16-year-old with a firearm and $3,000 and they talking to their ear with $3,000 or maybe $10,000, $20,000, that's going to motivate somebody in the street. That's probably going to motivate somebody that is less fortunate and make them want to rap too, because I want to hold 20 racks to my ear. So there are some good songs coming out. You know, there's some good music still coming out, but at the same time, you know, the drug scene has increased. Yeah. Like drugs in rap music is like, you can't have a beat without lyrics. You can't have a song without mentioning drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it feels like people are becoming more known to being addicted behavior with doing pills, Molly's and Percocets. Like, you hear Percocet almost in every song on the radio. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, people taking pain pills, Tylenol every day. So I'm not saying nothing's wrong with Percocet, but people not talking about the Tylenols that they popping every day. They don't even sound cool, like popping Tylenols.
Because Tylenol doesn't do anything to you. Like, that's why.
Right, okay, but I'm just saying.
Music, it's not an opioid. Like, the music today is glorifying drugs and opioids. And if we look back to like music history, and also like the downfall to African American culture, it really happened in the 80s with the crack epidemic, yes, as well as gangster rap. Like, I think about my parents. If I had to like really go back and look at their lives, they didn't have to deal with black on black crime the way that youth today has to deal with it. And that's why I feel like music has impacted the youth to a detriment. And I feel like the music industry is profiting off of poor Black society, because a lot of these artists haven't even lived the lives that they are glorifying in their rap lyrics. But it's a huge detriment to the kids who are listening to it, thinking it's cool and going out and shooting people for some J's or whatever have you.
Right.
Like, I really feel like in the last 30 years of music and hip hop culture specifically, it has heightened and highlighted black on black hate.
So to your point and what you just mentioned, Shaw, I think that the lifestyles that these rappers, there's been an epidemic of a lot of these young rappers. May they all rest in power, you know who they are. But I think that the lifestyles that they're living, I don't think that they were living those lifestyles prior to becoming famous. And the access of what the industry provides them has unfortunately led to them unfortunately dying at an age where we haven't even benefited from the gift that they were bringing to the world. And unfortunately, to the point of culture vultures, that's what's going on. The entertainment industry, the music industry, primarily hip hop, it's not happening in R&B, it's not happening in rock and roll, because rock and roll in the 80s and 70s, that particular genre of music had the wild bunch that were dying and doing the drugs and living those wild lifestyles. So now in hip hop, it is now taking part, and they're being taken over by people who may not look like us or may not come from the brown and black community or may not have a sense of the urban community and where these young men and young women come from. So they sign these contracts, and these contracts, you're basically signing your life to something that is going to be a detriment to your success. Because you may see success on the surface and they're on TV, they're on radio, they have this, they have that, but are they truly happy? And you're seeing it. You're seeing a lot of these young rappers, either they're being shot and killed instead of, or either they're dying because of what's going on. I think it was the great Pete Rock. I think I saw it on one of his Instagram posts that he came from an era where the rap game was you sold the dope. And now the rap game is I do the dope.
Yeah.
And like, that's deep. And I'm just paraphrasing it. It was, but yeah, you think about the 80s, like, how it all took part. Like Antonio was saying, like how it was, like, it's different. And I just think that the state of hip hop, there needs to be a call to action.
Yeah.
To save the lives of a lot of these young artists who are extremely talented. I don't want to take anything away from their talent, but it's unfortunate that, they're succumbing to things that unfortunately they can't control. So it's, what Pac was saying, it's this gimme, 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 take, gimme, 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 gimme. And that's what's going on with a lot of these rap artists in the culture.
Yeah.
Totally. I think drugs is synonymous with music, and that's in all genres. And it's up to the individual to indulge or not. And I think the record companies should probably have a drug awareness program, part of your deal. At least have it mentioned, because you can list the amount of artists that have had some type of drug overdose, drug indulgence, drug have died from drugs. Like there's a list of artists, and it's like Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Prince, there's so many. Janis Joplin, like you can. This is a long list of rappers. Even a young kid that passed not too long ago.
Mm.
Yep, Juice World, Mac Miller, right?
Yeah.
Like, right? So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this drug awareness is not in the music industry. And why is that?
Well, I
Right,
think
because we have to take it back a step further, right? Like, I don't know about y'all, but in my family, in full transparency, like I come from a lineage of addicts. So it's not just drug awareness as much as it's paying attention to mental health. People are doing drugs, people are drinking because they're trying to numb something. So I feel like, yes, there should be a drug component in these contracts, but there also needs to be therapy as well as mental health, like as an aspect, because you're taking people who didn't have anything, and then you're giving them millions, you're giving them notoriety, you're giving them fame and all this exposure, and they no longer have their own privacy, and nobody's telling them how to cope or deal with it from a mental standpoint. No one's addressing the psychological impact of all of these changes in their lives.
Right.
That's disgusting to me.
it's unfortunate. It's definitely unfortunate. I'm glad that we brought light to it because, especially with everything that's going on right now, I just hope that, everybody's mind and spirit can get right and they can find a way to get the help that they need. And there's a cry for help for those mental state. Who was it just recently? Tony Braxton.
Tamar Braxton.
Yeah.
Tamar Braxton.
So I think like there's two sides to the coin with drugs. There's the seller and the user, and I think both the seller and the user needs intervention.
For sure.
And I'm not speaking down to the process, but because that is a business, and it's also a legal business in the pharmaceutical world, and then the quote unquote street pharmacists are able to capitalize. So I think that's a world issue. That's like drugs are a world issue, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to take it away from the human and somebody needs to address it from on high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But like, just going back to my initial statement with like music being energy and some of the impacts that it's had on the Black community, it just got me to thinking about like some of the music that we glorify today compared to like, I look at when my dad was born in 1953, like the #1 hit record was a B.B. King album. And we know that wasn't promoting drugs or crime. Right. 1957, when my mom was born, the #1 hit song was Elvis Presley for R&B, which is weird, but I'm not going to go there. But Sam Cooke, You Send Me, Right. Then I think of like when my sister was born in the 70s, the #1 hit record was Stairway to Heaven, promoting love. When I was born in 1983, it was Cheryl Lynn, Encore. Yes, talking about sex, good sex, and wanted a repeat of that session. But like, it wasn't tragic. Like, it wasn't tragic. You feel me? Then I fast forward to 2020, and I think to like Meg Thee Stallion with Savage, a TikTok phenomenon that my 8-year-old niece is dancing to, right. And the opening lyrics is, I'm that B, been that B, I want to be that B. And I'm just like, I don't want any of my children, my friends' kids, like my niece or my nephew, feeling like that's what their life has like amounted to. I'm bougie, ratchet, and something else. Like, that's whack. Like, yeah. I feel like the music today is glorifying women being single, toxic, and ratchet. And
so here's the thing to that.
That's whack.
I agree. I think it does bring. So here's my thing. I think that I'm not trying to discredit the success of any female rapper, but going back to the era of hip hop that all three of us can remember, I think that it doesn't help the culture when you have female rappers like Meg Thee Stallion or Nicki Minaj, and then you have female rappers like Rhapsody, who has bomb lyrical skills. Shout out to Rhapsody, she is bad. But You know what I'm saying? You don't get that same level of commercial success. You know what I'm saying? But they want to showcase a female rapper like a Cardi B because sex sells. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing what's going on with Meg Thee Stallion now between her and Tory Lanez. And that is like, you know, everybody's putting their energy into all of that, right? And here we are in a pandemic, and I don't want to speak too much about something that we don't know the truth of, but you know, you guys know what's going on between Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, all the listeners out there. But it just goes to the point of the music and the things that you perpetuate. And there's younger boys and girls who see that and think it's okay for that to be treat a woman that way, or for a woman to treat a man that way and to rap. And it's just, it's like, it's too much. Like, I'll be honest with you, my top 3 female rappers of all time are always going to be Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? And you think about what they brought to the industry and the type of music they was, man, I'm not discrediting Foxy Brown or Lil' Kim. It was an era that they were able to capitalize off of that look. It was sexy, but it wasn't, I think it was a classy sexy to it. Not too raunchy, but
Little Kim?
It was like, no, here, I'm gonna explain. It was not as, they didn't have the platform that these rappers have right now, but it was a certain little like level, like you respected it. It wasn't, you respect.
Because Little Kim became Madonna in the rap world.
She was in a lane that she created for these other female rappers to be in currently right now, and you got to give her credit for that.
That was Biggie's idea, so shout out to Big, rest in peace.
Right. So yeah, that's my thing on that. But I'm glad that we were able to touch light on, you know, how it has had a detriment effect, not only to our Black youth, but just youth in general. I think it's a lot of people that don't come from the brown or Black community. I think it's affected a lot of young children who think it's okay because you're seeing it in how they treat their elders, how they move around and navigate in society. I think that the music, the culture, and it goes back to culture vultures. Because if you have a white kid from the burbs who has no connection to their urban community, they see the TikTok videos, they hear the music. And by the way, they are the biggest contributors financially to the culture, but they don't understand it. So they act out what they see.
So why do you think that is, y'all? Why do y'all think that white society is the biggest contributors to Black culture and all that music today signifies? Like, I feel like, again, it goes back to them feeding the downfall of our Black youth.
So you're probably saying that the entertainment industry would be culture vultures also.
Exactly, because I'm sure they're ran by white folks.
Well, see, the thing is that they've been fighting for years for a lot of rap. There's only a handful of artists, especially rap artists, that actually have control of their music and that own their masters, right? So we can go back to artists like Sam Cooke, James Brown, you know, Stevie Wonder, the great Ray Charles. A lot of those artists fought for the rights of their music because they were talented. That was what they did. And then you now, and there's a lot of brothers and sisters in the industry that unfortunately don't have that control and that power, and they're used. I mean, Meg Thee Stallion, you know, she was fighting for that. And I think she still is, you know, she was fighting for it. That's just how it is in that industry. You sign those contracts. From a certain background, you know, and I think, Shar, you talked about it in our production meeting. It's like if Meg Thee Stallion were to just step away for a while and shed light on the fact that she's going to college.
Yes.
That's a way to uplift a lot of young ladies, not just brown and Black, but all women. Like, yo, song about being in college. I think it would be like, you can make it still fun. You can still make it sexy, but say, hey, I'm in school. And like the platforms like Shade Room, they need to do a better job in how they portray the communities. Like a lot of the negativity, I think, feeds into what the response mechanism is for a lot of people. You feel me?
Okay, so consciousness does not sell records in hip hop, and that's the unfortunate part. So consciousness education, politics, unfortunately, and Tupac said it, and he gave the example of, yeah, I wrote, She's Gotta Have a Baby, Brenda's Got a Baby. I wrote Brenda's Got a Baby. I Love Dead Prez is bigger than hip hop. They ain't selling no records.
Yeah,
So,
the same way we can't get fruits and vegetables and like Whole Foods in the hood. Like again, it's all, I don't know. I just see it in a different light. I feel like it's a way to negatively impact Black society. That's
It's taking us and continuously putting us in a box. And it's not just Black, it's also brown community. People in low socioeconomic backgrounds are continuously being mistreated in what access they have to everything. So you can go into liquor stores on corners, the fast food, billboards showing that. Like back in the 80s, you had billboards of people that were of color smoking Newports and cool cigarettes or drinking. Remember, rappers were promoting a lot of the St. Ides and 40-ounce, beers. He had Billy D. Williams, the great Billy D. Williams, that had the Coke 40. Like you can go into on and on. It's ways to use us and say, this is what y'all like, this is what y'all do. And we are, and that's the reason why during the pandemic, people have been saying, using your dollars and contributing to your communities, your street vendors, your wholesalers, your creators. You know what I'm saying? Like use that money instead of buying all of these brands that are European and not from the country, that don't even use your likeness to promote their brand. Why are you spending your dollars on that? So it goes, it's a revolving issue that's been going on for years. So,
and what you're saying, Amir, is basically that the industry, the music industry, entertainment industry thrives off markets. So ratchet music, there's a market for that. And people will pay big money to go see somebody talk about I'm ratchet or I'm classy or Meg Thee Stallion. People are going to pay money for that. People are going to pay money to go see the Migos. There's a market for that. So right? But unfortunately, if there were no market for it, it would not exist. And that's kind of what conscious rap, kind of the lane. And when you said Rhapsody, Amir, like LA, I'm in LA, Compton to be exact. Il Camille is a hip hop artist, and she's very dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Il. Yeah.
All right. That's a lot in that unpacked in that one. You know what I'm saying? Let's versus
has made COVID very bearable.
Yep.
Between Versus and Club Quarantine, shout out to DJ Nice, shout out to Questlove for just allowing us to like make our homes a party, a lounge, a club, if you will. Like shout out to Timbaland, shout out to Swiss Beats for Versus. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
I want to say real quick, because I've been having this on my chest. I want to shout out Jill Scott, and for the long term of her career, like Jill Scott, it was really about her voice. Jill Scott is a beautiful young lady, sexy, elegant, sophisticated, classy, and she could put on a mini skirt, you know what I'm saying, and sing a record. But I want to just shout out her first album cover. Who is Jill Scott? You know what I mean? She didn't come out the gate trying to sell sex. And for someone in 2020 to say I don't consider her attractive or whatever, I think that you waste your breath when you speak, because she has so much value as an entertainer. Her first album in my book is a classic. And I just want to love on Jill Scott. I mean, that's a beautiful spirit. And there's a lot. Erica, there's a lot. There's a lot. Legacy. But specifically when Jill Scott comes in a conversation and someone tries to compare her or critique her, I just take offense to that, because she's never pushed. She's pushed more about relationships. She's pushed more about healthy relationships. She's pushed more about dating, having, cool dates, like the stuff that people do, like I could never praise her enough. So shout out to Jill.
Yeah, that brother was way out of pocket. NFL linebacker Kyle Kero. What was you?
What did he say?
He was just questioning the sex appeal of Jill Scott, and it's just like, bro, like, shouldn't you be focusing on training camp, or if a season is going to take part and you took it? But see, it goes to my point again. Like, I think we need to do a better job. Like, a man that takes his energy to speak out on a woman, question a woman's presence or her sex appeal, it's like, dude, like, that's whack. Like, straight up, that's whack. And they called him out, and he got hit with it. And Jill Scott, with the class that she has, she was able to like brush it like it's nothing. Because we all know what Jill Scott brings to the table without a doubt. So it was just, like, dude, like, no one knows who you are, bro. No one knows who you are. You know what I'm
Who
saying?
is he?
He's an NFL linebacker, but it's like no one knows who you are, and you want to speak out on a great artist. The NFL linebacker's name was Kyle Kero. And the thing,
is he black?
Yes. And I don't even think
he's
on the team right now. And you have the audacity to speak out on the great Jill Scott. Like, bro, like, you're whack. Like, that was whack.
Yeah.
Got called out not only from women, but from men. Like, dude, like, that's whack. Like, focus that energy on another NFL player that you're about to face in a potential season if you do have a season. Like, focus that energy. But the fact that you go on a social media platform questioning, I want to know why y'all. It's like when an idiot raises his hand in class and he asks the dumb question, everybody turn around like, oh man, like, here he go.
Yeah. But yet another week, another example, another episode on how a black man is not protecting a black woman.
Don't do it.
The narrative continues.
It does. But back to verses though. There was 10 of them. 10 verses. I just want to know real quick, round robin, top three. Top three. So least favorite.
Okay. So my number one, of course, is Jill and Erica, because I'm a fan of both of their music. Growing up, I always like neo soul was my number one genre. So I didn't even really listen to a lot of hip hop or rap music growing up as a teenager. Like, it was always neo soul. So they're two of my favorite artists. I think that there was no winner. I think that it was a broadcast of, if I can coin this term, queening. It was an adornment of love between two black women, just loving on one another, uplifting one another, sharing their talent, their music, their passion. Like, I was so full watching that versus, and even like the day after, it was just the epitome of queening, of upliftment. Like, it was just everything. So that's my number one. Number two, because my second favorite genre is reggae, was definitely Beanie and Bounty. Like, all day, every day. I had my rum punch. I was ready. And then number three was T-Pain and Lil Jon, because they took me back to college. So I turned my entire living room into a club, turned the lights down. I was dancing on the couch. Nobody could kick me off my own couch. So it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah, so I really enjoy Babyface and Teddy Riley.
Which one, the first one or the second one?
I enjoy both of them.
JK. That one was dope.
My man in the background dancing, the hype man.
Doing the most.
We did not expect that from Teddy. And I am a true fan student as a musician, quasi-musician myself. I'm a student of everything Teddy has done, everything Babyface has done.
Yeah.
And Teddy just took it to a whole nother level, but his technology failed his show.
Yes, yes. That was the epitome of doing too damn much. Doing the most. When doing the most goes wrong.
And then we saw how poised and prim and proper Babyface was. I didn't expect that calm. From Babyface. I didn't.
I love Babyface.
Right.
Like,
so then I enjoyed the Manny Fresh battle.
Yeah.
because it was just the arguments after it, like the social media arguments, and then the DJ Premier versus DJ Premier versus who was it?
RZA.
RZA, yeah. And it was so many arguments after, like in the hip hop world. So those three really stuck out in the verses.
Yeah. Dang, now I wanna put Babyface and Teddy in my top three because that one was phenomenal. That was like hit after hit after hit.
Right.
The gospel version of with Kurt Franklin and Fred Hammond. Don't forget about
Yes.
the outfit that Pastor T.D. Jakes had.
Ooh, wasn't that picture, bro? That picture.
But I think for me, top three, I got to go with Jilly from Philly and Erykah Badu. I mean, like Char was saying, that was just a whole vibe, and you can see the presence of two women just vibing. It was just lovely. It was beautiful. It was like those mothers that you meet that's at church and they give you those mints. It's a blessing.
Don't do that. It wasn't that. It was definitely aunt vibes. It was not church mother vibes. Don't do that.
Shout out to the church mint. Shout out
not do that to my queens.
Okay, no, I'm just saying it's love. It was mother. It was like that hug you get, and it's just like, yes, you did. They touched your soul. It was like, ooh.
Yes.
If church give you a mint, believe me, that's love. That's love.
Yeah, church mint. Shout out to the church mint. Shout out to
I can't stand y'all.
And I got to mention my mother Gibson from growing up in church. Mother Gibson, she had the bombest pound cake. Shout out to Mother Gibson's pound cake. Rest in power, Mother Gibson.
Random.
But anyways, Badu and Scott, and then I got to go with Babyface and Teddy because we was all hyped up for that one. That was like, that was like the equivalent of like a heavyweight match, and everybody was like, "Who's gonna win?" It's like a Tyson match, like Tyson and whoever. It's like, yo, who's going? Because we grew up. That's like our music, you know.
Yeah.
I like to say third. I don't know. Third, I'm like kind of torn between on who I think. I mean, I did enjoy RZA and DJ Premier. I did enjoy T-Pain and Little John because I think we were all like in all that Little John's catalog was actually that long. Storch and
Manny
was good, but I think I'm looking forward to the battle this Wednesday with DMX and Snoop. I think people are going to be, excited to see the music that comes up because Snoop's catalog is deep, where DMX is deep, but not as long of a career. But Snoop has 25 years, and whereas DMX, well, Snoop is more like 30 years.
Yeah.
Got on the scene with Dre on 187, you know what I'm saying? But DMX teaming up with Swizz, and then Swizz and Timbaland opened up the platform, for these things to come into fruition. But shout out to the versus battles. I think it's definitely been entertaining to tune in. But make sure y'all get y'all technology right when y'all do them, because we be sitting there.
Please.
Not only did Babyface and Teddy Riley have some mishaps, but you also got to throw out Nelly and Ludacris.
Oh, that is
there, and Nelly's in the basement, and Luda's just sitting there, like, to your point with Babyface, Luda was just kind of like, yeah, brother, okay. Like, and like Nelly's in there, like, doing his 1, 2, 3, 4 rap songs, you know what I'm saying?
Right. He's rocking out to music that nobody ever heard before, but he's like in his own zone, just like happy. That's the level of happy I need in life.
Right. That Nelly basement 1, 2, 3, 4 flow.
Right.
I was like, all right, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
And no shade, but I did expect a lot more from Alicia Keys and John Legend, especially with Alicia being married to the co-founder of Versus. Like, I wanted more. And maybe somebody different on Juneteenth, but that's just my personal opinion.
We almost had Badu and Scott on Juneteenth. You know what it would have been dope? There's a lot of people that we could have threw out there. I'd like to see, here's a question. Who would you like to see do a next battle?
I want to see Ninth Wonder and Alchemist.
For the hip hop fans out there, yeah, that would be That would be a good one.
Oh, I would love to see Maxwell versus Music Soul Child.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm trying to think who I had in mind. It was someone I had in mind. Okay. Pharrell and Kanye West.
Ooh, golly.
Yeah.
That would be great.
And then for the R&B fans, Mary J. Blige and Mariah Carey. No? All right, who can Mary J. Okay, Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige and Janet Jackson. No?
I can see
Mary J. Blige and Janet Jackson. That would be a good one.
I think Mary, gosh, who could she go against? I just feel like she has such her own lane of like.
But they both have that
music.
It would be like Mary J. Blige and Beyonce solo career.
But
what about Mary J. versus Monica?
Nah.
Nah,
because see, that's what I'm saying. Mary J. Blige, you got to think about it. Mary J. Blige comes from the New Jack era.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Janet Jackson is like right there. If you take Janet Jackson's career in the late 80s, Mary J. is after that in the early 90s with What's the 411. They're almost parallel in the 90s. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. Mary J. sang the hook on Father MC.
Mary J. and Janet Jackson, I think, is a legit battle. Mariah Carey, I'm talking about as far as hits, but rest in power, Whitney Houston. That would probably be a better.
Oh my gosh!
So maybe
it would be Whitney. It would be Whitney versus Mariah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Whitney.
I think it'll be Whitney. Nah, like it's certain artists who you just can't go up against, and I feel like Whitney is one of those artists where it's like Luther. If you go do a Luther, you can only do Big Luther versus Little Luther. Like that's the only battle.
Luther against Freddie Jackson. What you talking about?
I can see that.
Yeah. Or you can Ooh.
Mariah is pop and Whitney Houston is pop.
That's what I'm saying. Remember, there was a battle everybody always used to say back in the day, like who was better. Remember, they finally teamed up and they did a song together. But Mary J. and Janet Jackson. Or hold up, Mary J. and Missy Elliott.
No.
Okay, well then, all right. You know who should have went up against Ludacris? Oh, here I got you. Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes.
That would have been good. I like that. I like that.
Like the equivalent of one another.
They have that same good energy. Like they can get the party started and going.
Yeah, Busta has already, Busta goes back to native tongues, with Tribe.
We're leaders of the new school.
You know what I'm saying? And then like that flow. Busta's also had he's got that Jamaican in him, Jamaica Queens in him.
Mm-hmm.
So Busta, Missy, and then who else did I say? I said and then Pharrell and Kanye. You gotta have Pharrell and Kanye. Two producers have solo careers that were dope. So the verses. Shout out to the verses. Y'all look on Wednesday. We got Snoop and DMX, Battle of the Dogs.
Yep. And I just want to shout out, in addition to like DJ D-Nice, who has like a platform as well as Questlove, I have personal friends of mine who are DJs who have been keeping the club quarantine spirit alive. So shout out to DJ Courtesy in LA, one of my favorite Jamaican reggae DJs, as well as my girl DJ Frankie J out here in DC, keeping our living rooms lively.
That's what's up. Well, I'm just gonna plug, I don't have DJs to throw out there, but I'm just gonna plug my music playlist on Apple Music. You can follow me on there, Amir, and I think it's under Amir Woods, I think, or maybe under Amir, but definitely check out because I got some really dope playlists out there. But one thing I wanted to do was shout out the book that I'm actually about to embark on. Conversations in Black by the great Ed Gordon. If you don't know who Ed Gordon is, he actually was, when BET was black, when it was ran by Black, Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
Gordon was actually one of the original news correspondents, you know, when BET was black, back when they had Video Soul with Donnie Simpson. But shout out to Ed Gordon. I'm about to shout out to my sister Cleo for providing this book for me. I look forward to reading it. Any other shout outs? Antonio?
Yeah, I got a shout out. I want to shout out to everybody that's staying well during COVID. I want to say a rest in peace to all the people that we lost. And music, you know, music is who I am. So this was a good episode. I probably didn't touch on it like I would have wanted to, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Antonio Crow, even though he's our co-host. He also did our intro music. So he is humbly not bragging on himself, but I would like to shout Antonio Crow out. I would also just like to say that my prayers and my thoughts are with Tamar Braxton. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but I am definitely praying for you, sis. I'm praying that you find the healing and the light that is going to pull you through this, the strength. Just my thoughts and prayers are with you.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Convo Lounge. And you can follow us once again on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, at the Convo Lounge. And Antonio, you want to plug in one more thing?
Oh yeah, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And subscribe to the YouTube. Yes, yes, yes.
And if you love us, like it and share it with your friends, family, tribe, village. Spread the love.
When you're passing out those church mints. But yeah, no doubt. Music make you lose control, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.